Dear learners, today we would be discussing a topic called governance and management, and the focus would be more on governance, and this would be specifically related to NGOs. We all know that it is very important for each and every organization to follow certain rules, certain regulations, and follow certain norms, and to be very transparent and accountable. So it applies to NGOs as well, that is the non-governmental organizations. We have been looking at many aspects of non-governmental organizations, and this particular concept is related to the issues in NGO management, and this is one of the major concepts which we need to understand categorically. So when we start with the governance and management part, the whole idea would be related to the governance and how it can affect the management of any organization, and in our case it would be the not-for-profit organizations. So when we start with the governance and management aspect, we need to understand what do we mean by people. We all know that I'm also an individual, and I come in the category of people. So people are always a big challenge for the management to manage. So management is all about managing people, right? So it is very important for us to understand that how people are related to the governance part. So people are always a challenge, and the NGOs which are engaged in community development do not merely deal with people in the community. They have to deal with many other factors. They have to deal with the local community dynamics. They have to deal with the legal and the local governmental aspects. They have to deal with the environmental and socio-cultural issues. They have to deal with the growing emphasis on the human rights and the gender issues. So there are many other aspects which are related to people in different forms, be it local community, be it legal and local governments, be it environmental issues, be it gender issues, anything. So people are involved everywhere, and that is where the concept of governance comes into picture. So when we talk about the governance part, we have been seeing that of late, for the past decade or so, this term has been used by each and everyone in every organization. So the terms like governance, the good governance and management, it has been applicable in both the profit and non-profit organizations. So governance is a word which has been used increasingly in organizational context. And the concept of governance is not new, and it has been around for a long time. So when we see our history, the cultural history, at that time also the concept of governance was prevalent, but not in the organized form. So it can be used in several contexts like corporate governance, international governance, national governance, and the local governance. However, it means different things to different people. Therefore, we must spend some time discuss the issues related to governance and how it is affecting the management aspect. Now, we come to the major question, what is governance? So in the widest sense, this refers to how any organization is run. It therefore includes all the processes, the systems, the controls that are used to safeguard the interests of the organization. It is at different level to what management is. So the principles of governance, they apply to all organizations, whether it is the biggest multinational company or a very small trust or any NGO which may be recognized or may not be recognized. So it is basically the way of running the organization involving the processes, the systems, and the control. Now we come to another aspect, the major aspect, very important aspect, because we call it as good governance. So there can be a bad governance also, but here we have to concentrate on good governance because the management concept is coming into picture. So usually we say that good governance is predictable, it is open, it is kind of enlightened policy making, and it has professional ethos involved in it for the public good, and it has rule of law, it is a transparent process, and a strong civil society participating in public affairs. Poor governance or bad governance, on the other hand, is characterized by arbitrary policy making, unaccountable bureaucracies, unenforced or unjust legal systems, abuse of executive power, a civil society engaged in public life, and widespread corruption. So, when we talk about the corruption part, it is the bad governance or the poor governance. And when we talk about the ethical issues, it is the good governance. So the ethical issues and etc. would be covered in the later modules. Now, if we see the definition of governance, so World Bank in governance, the World Bank's experience, the World Bank considers governance to be promoting fairness, transparency, and accountability. So these are the main characteristics, that is fairness, transparency, and accountability. These are the main characteristics for any organization for having a good governance. So with the phenomenal growth in number of NGOs across the globe, there is a need for good governance for their credibility, because we talked about the brand image, the image building of NGOs. So this requires good governance. So if the NGOs are good enough, so they require to be having a good credibility. So we need to explore several factors relating to the governance and accountability of NGOs, which helps the people in the organization. Such factors must include the financial accountability also, and the operational success majorly depends on the ability to raise funds and manage them properly. And it is very important to understand, to generate funds, if there is no good governance, it is very, very difficult for the organizations to manage the funds, to raise the funds for the NGO, because people would not come forward to give the funds to the NGOs. So if we see the characteristics of good governance, so these characteristics are listed, and if these characteristics have been given by the Poverty Aid Development Division of the United Nations Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific, and has identified the 8 major characteristics, and these are the participatory, consensus-oriented, accountable, transparent, responsive, effective and efficient, equitable, and inclusive, and they are following the rules of law. So these are the 8 characteristics we would be discussing one by one and see what it actually means to have good governance for any organization. Now, participation. This is the first characteristic of good governance. The key cornerstone of good governance is participation. It can be either direct or indirect through legal or the legitimate ways of participation. A very good example is the self-help groups. The most vulnerable to be considered in decision making, the people who are most vulnerable or are part of the organization, they are supposed to be considered for making certain decisions which are related to them. So that is participation. So participation needs to be informed and organized. It means freedom of association and expression on one hand, and an organized civil society on the other hand. So it is very, very important for the participation as one of the characteristics for good governance. Then we have rule of law. Good governance requires fair legal frameworks that are enforced impartially. It also requires full protection of human rights, particularly those of minorities, and we would be understanding these concepts and knowing you already have known these concepts in the part of poverty. So impartial enforcement of laws, it requires an independent judiciary and an impartial and incorruptible public force. Then we have transparency. Transparency is very, very important for good governance, and it means that decisions taken and their enforcements are done in a manner that follows certain rules and regulations. for any of the organizations. It also means that information is freely available and directly accessible to those who will be affected by certain decisions and their enforcement. It also means the enough information which is provided and is provided easily in understandable forms and through certain media. So transparency is also one of the important characteristics of good governance. Coming to the responsibilities, all the organizations, they require to be responsible towards the community, and specifically in case of NGOs, it is very, very important for the organizations to be responsible. They actually are something which have been set up where the commitment is involved. So therefore, the responsibility is the major characteristic for good governance. So it requires that institutions and the processes, they try to serve all the stakeholders within a reasonable time frame and should have the responsibility towards the society for the benefit, the welfare and the development of the society. Then the other characteristic is the consensus oriented. Good governance requires mediation of different interests in society to reach a broad consensus in the society. Consensus in the best interest of the whole community and how it can be achieved. It also requires a broad and long-term perspective and what is needed for sustainable human development. All this can only result from an understanding of the historical, the cultural, the social context of a given society, of any community. So that is why the consensus oriented is also considered to be one of the major characteristics of good governance. Then equity and inclusiveness. This is one of the most important part of good governance, and a society's well-being depends on ensuring that all its members feel that they have a stake in it. They do not feel excluded from the mainstream of the society, that is inclusiveness. This requires that all the groups, but particularly the most vulnerable groups, have opportunities to improve or maintain their well-being. Effectiveness and efficiency. Good governance means that the processes and institutions produce results that meet the needs of the society while making the best use of resources at their disposal. The concept of efficiency in the context of good governance also covers the sustainable use of natural resources and, of course, the protection of the environment. Coming to the another part of good governance, that is accountability. It is a key requirement of good governance, and not only governmental institutions but also the private sector and civil society organizations across must be accountable to the public and to the institutional stakeholders. Who is accountable to whom? It depends on whether decisions or actions taken are internal or external to an organization or institution. All this has been covered in the environment aspect of this course. In general, an organization or an institution is accountable to those who will be affected directly or indirectly by its decisions or actions. Accountability cannot be enforced without transparency and, of course, without rule of law. Now coming to the governance and management aspect, how they are interrelated. The governing functions are those that provide the essential directions, the resources, the structure needed to meet specific needs of the organization to run effectively. So therefore, we need good governance for these functions to run effectively, and these include the strategic direction for the organization, the material resources development for the support of all the activities which the NGOs are involved in, the financial accountability to ensure integrity and transparency, the leadership development at all levels. Management functions directly deal with the programs, activities and implementation to accomplish the vision and mission of the organization. This includes the program planning and implementation part, administration on a day-to-day basis, reporting, and when we just cover the concept of governance and management, it says the governance gives the overall direction of the program, while management is the implementation aspect. It covers the implementation aspects of this direction on a day-to-day basis, as well as in accordance with whatever timelines that have been set for accomplishing the goals, the overall goals of the organization. Now we come to another aspect, which is need for good governance. The governance, we have already studied what is good governance, but why do we require it? That is very important. Why do we require it for the management functioning or the management authorities or the people involved in managing an organization for having good governance? So governance of non-government organization becomes increasingly important as they are taking on more and more critical roles in tackling problems and issues in the society, the nation. So management functions, they directly deal with program activities and implementation and to accomplish the vision and mission set by the governing bodies. So when we need good governance, why do we need good governance? So good governance is required because most of the NGOs, they are taking very critical role in tackling problems across the globe and of course in our nation. They are in the forefront of the civil society and in many ways they have become the conscience of the community. More than the government organizations, it is the NGOs that are being consulted when there is certain kind of a crisis of different kinds, and you can experience this kind of situation in the present crisis situation which we are facing. One major factor in the need for good governance is to function in accordance with legal requirements, and these vary from state to state as well as various forms. NGOs wanting an easy way out may choose a type that requires its least accountability. This is quite alarming and has been the cause of much misappropriation of property and finances in the NGO community. So there are many organizations, many civil society movements which are following poor governance and they have a certain kind of a monopoly. So that is why we require good governance in the present context all the more. So rather than look at such easy ways out, NGOs must commit themselves to good governance and conduct their operations above the board. NGOs must set the trend in being well-governed and efficiently managed operations. This will not only help them operate with a clean reputation, but also help in attracting bigger donors for larger programs. Integrity and accountability is what most funders look at as being the prime concern for any of the non-governmental organizations. So it is very important for the NGOs to have a good governance because any NGO should set a trend being well governed and efficiently managed operations. This is not going to help them operate with a good reputation or creditable reputation, but also help in attracting big donors for bigger and larger programs. Integrity and accountability is what most funders they look in for giving the funds to the NGOs. So there are different names such as Board of Trustees, Board of Management and Board of Directors, etc. Which are required in any organization, and specifically in terms if we think of NGOs and in terms of good governance. So these different names are to be used quite often. So whatever the name, it is the overall governing body in general which has the responsibility to ensure that there is a clear and appropriate mission, a proper strategic plan, certain objectives and targets, an effective planning mechanism, a budget, effective lines of accountability and clear reporting. And of course the feedback is also important. All these aspects we have already discussed in elements of strategy, but they also form a part of good governance. So when we talk about code of ethics for board members, I'll just touch upon the basic aspects because there's a module on ethical issues which we'll take it in the later sessions. So when we talk about code of ethics for board members, accountability is very important. The professional excellence is important for the board members to follow. The personal gain, the concept of personal gain should be avoided by the board members. They should work for the community as a whole and should provide equal opportunity to each and every person or an individual or the organization involved in the whole community. They have to maintain certain confidential information to maintain the ethics of the organization. So these are such certain code of ethics which needs to be followed by the board members. There are certain principles for good NGO governance, and that is specific. All this depends on good management, of course. And this has been given by the Central and Eastern European Working Group on Non-Profits Governance, and since its inception in 2001, and that's quite long, and they have been exploring certain challenges which the NGOs are facing. And they have formulated certain set of guidelines based on the following principles, and that whole manual, the link is provided in this particular session only for the whole manual, which you can always go through them. So these principles are that NGOs are accountable to their communities. Good governance is the basic form of accountability. Good governance has a formal structure. Good governance involves the separation of governance and the government. The NGOs are mission-based organizations. The NGOs promote the highest professional and ethical standards. The NGOs exercise responsible resource management and mobilization, and NGOs are of course responsive to the communities they serve. Now I have given the source from which you can just download the manual and go through the manuals on which these principles are based, and it's a very good manuals. And there are certain examples and the links. These are the further readings I have provided, and you can just click on these links and you would find that the first link talks about the governance in Smile Foundation India and the whole concept of good governance. They have explained it beautifully and how they have applied the financial accountability, the transparency, etc. in the organization. And then the second link gives there's a manual for the governance of NGOs, and the third link is about the Peace Corps. This is also an NGO, and they have a certain guideline, the governance guidelines for this organization, and which you can always go through for the example. And these readings are really good, and you just go through them and see how the good governance works for the organization and how the management of that organization follows the good governance. This is all which has to be covered in this session, and we'll just see other related issues like ethical issues, the leadership part, the organizational dynamics in the further sessions. Thank you so much.